Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here with the Heritage Officer of Piaget. In this video, we will fly over 5 decades of dominance for Piaget, and we will unpick why all of these Piaget attributes are finding their way into modern watchmaking and these other non-Piaget watches on the table. Stay with us. 2 millimeters, that is the thickness of a movement created by Piaget in the 1950s. That and many other facts are going to blow your mind. I've been looking forward to this day for so long. I'd like to welcome Alain Borgeaud, the Heritage Officer of Piaget, to Time+Tide London. You are here with us.
Thank you, and very big pleasure for me.
This is the biggest pleasure for me. And I want to start with asking you, what is your impression of the space? You know, this is a totally new way for us to come together before an event. We're doing an event tonight. Tell me what you see.
It's full of energy.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic. It's a pleasure to discover this place. And I think we can organize a lot of different events, and that's very thrilling.
The excitement comes not only from my respect for Piaget. As recently as last year, I was in Monaco. I met Yves Piaget himself. It was so special. But the reason that since then my interest has grown into a wildfire from a little spark, there is no brand like Piaget right now that is echoing in the current watch design lexicon like Piaget. We have a Denizen with a tiger-eye dial and this sort of softened square case.
Very nice dial, very dynamic also.
And the connection there is that was designed by Emmanuel Guillet, who's the son of
Jean-Claude
Guillet, who designed the Polo. So there's a connection there. We have the Toledano and Chan B1 with a mother of pearl dial, another hardstone dial that references or that could be seen to hail from that great era of the 70s.
A lot of character.
A lot of character, great watch, fantastic
wonderful
watch, and a wonderful brand, Furlan Mari, with a bracelet and a design with a stepped case.
Very thin bracelet. It makes think of mine.
It does, a very thin bracelet. This is a watch from the 60s. Maybe show that to the people. This is a mesh bracelet, but also with this, and this is a watch from the 60s from Piaget. So we are seeing Piaget just being echoed in so many watch designs. So I start the story here because I'm just going to put it out there. There is no brand that is as influential on the watches that we carry in the Watch Discovery Studio every day as Piaget right now. What is happening? Why is Piaget in this moment so influential on new watch designs?
I think the main elements of our DNA is our creativity. And the creativity was allowed thanks to the 9P movement launched in 1957.
That's that one.
And that's the beginning of the real Piaget style. It gave life to everything we see on this tray and admire in the 60s, 70s, and even 80s.
Yeah. And speaking to Yves Piaget about the brand, he yearns for that era of decadence, of creativity, of opulence, of just so much more flamboyance in design. And then we move on to the 60s.
With the 12P automatic, which was the thinnest in the world at the time.
Yes.
So, and it's always a combination.
Look at this. So this is 2.3 millimeters thin, uncased. And look at the elegance of this watch. And again, we're seeing some of these codes that are echoing in modern watch design in this piece too. So the 60s.
The bracelet is like a second skin.
Yes. And I have to say, your collection is ridiculous. You deserve to be the Heritage Officer just because your personal Piagets are enough for an archive in themselves. Tell me about this watch. Where did you acquire this?
I bought it in Lisbon in an auction. I was on the phone. No one was against me, and after 10 seconds, I got it.
Oh my gosh.
I was very happy.
Can I ask the price?
2,000.
Kill me now. Just kill me.
15 years ago.
Just kill me now. How long?
15 years ago.
15 years ago. Okay, so gorgeous silver sunray dial.
A bit more for this one.
Blued hands, yes, we'll get to that one. So this is a stunning
But this is the
example.
perfect elegance of Piaget.
Yes.
Ultra thin movement, the gold bracelet like a second skin.
Yes.
It's perfect.
It is absolutely perfect. I have a watch from a similar era with a Burmese jade dial, gold stepped case. Once you start to breathe in these aromas and these flavors, it becomes very addictive. So the 60s, we moved from the 9P to the 12P, an automatic caliber that is also super, super thin. Do we have anything else from the 60s that we want to talk about here?
From the 60s, we can talk about this piece, which is a very specific shape of the case. And you see the pattern of the bracelet is reproduced on the case. So the integration was already a very strong element of the Piaget style from the early 60s.
Yes. And what we have here, not only is there that the way that the case finishing wraps around the case like it does on the Polo, we also have this softened trapeze shape and then this tiger eye dial. Now, I am going to digress, sir, because you have a problem with tiger eye.
I don't like brown. But that's private.
It is private, it's no longer private. Tell the people what you do when you buy a watch with a tiger eye dial.
I change it. Now, because I'm lucky enough to know the person who makes the dial, and I bought a very nice watch in Paris 2 years ago, and it had a tiger eye dial, and I called the guy and I said, I want a bloodstone dial, but not like this, but like this. And he said, stop, come to my place and choose your stone, and you will be happy. And I am.
And this wasn't the only time it happened. We also have another Warhol at the back.
Yeah, but that's also Piaget. Piaget, we could organize and choose the watch, which was personalization.
Yes. Okay, so this is available to you?
This is the state of mind of the brand.
Yes.
We are a bit unique.
Okay, so the good news is that isn't just the privilege of Alain's position as Heritage Officer. You too can change that pesky tiger eye dial and give it to me. Now we move on to the 70s, and we get into a watch that,
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
It's more important that you tell people why it's amazing than I do. So please.
It's an amazing combination of the gold bracelet and the presence of sapphire and diamond, but each element is independent. You have the asymmetric elements of sapphire and diamond, and asymmetry is a very strong element of the Piaget style.
Yes. Now, what I learned today about this bark finish bracelet is that the bracelet is actually, shall I say, generic? As in, this is
this structure
yes.
is the structure A, because at that time we had no model name. We had numbers and letters. And this is the A bracelet with the 6th pattern. So it's an A6.
A6.
And nowadays we call it Palace Decor, but it's exactly the same.
Come in, Pavel, come in. See, what you're not going to believe until you see this is that this bark finish, which has no discernible gaps between links, is decorated to cover
when the bracelet is finished,
links.
It's like this on both sides. And we give it to the engraver, and by his art, he makes the structure disappear by the pattern.
You cannot see a link in this. It is absolutely otherworldly. And this, of course, then leads on to my favorite feminine timepiece of all time, the Limelight Gala in 2013, which took this oval shape and made it more round. But again, we have these teardrop lugs, absolutely beautiful piece. And overlooked as a feminine icon, I personally think it's the best feminine timepiece.
And this is, I was lucky enough to buy it back because the lady sent me an email. She lives in Istanbul.
Yes.
And she said, I have a Piaget watch. It's too big for me. I want to melt it. And I said, never.
Lady.
No.
Hold the phone, I'm coming.
I want to buy it back. And she said, okay. And I bought it back.
Good Lord. Alain is stopping people from doing crazy things. There's a happy ending to that story. So we move on from this watch to the Polo, which technically is in the 70s. It's in 79 released.
79, yes.
Yes. However, and again, I'd love to throw in some B-roll of Yves Piaget and I talking about this. It really comes to prominence in the 80s,
yes,
which is why we're letting it own the 80s decade.
Piaget Polo is the first watch to receive a name, a model name. And it was very often proposed to the public in a masculine and feminine model together.
Yes.
So it was a couple watch.
And this came at a time of despair and disaster for the industry as quartz was starting to really have an impact on the Swiss industry. And yet today, we have it in a mechanical version. This is in white gold. It is extremely heavy in the hand. This watch is, I thought that the gold version would always be my favorite Polo in the modern day, but there is something extraordinary about this, the way this piece and the way that the bracelet integrates with the case, which integrates with the dial. And there's a famous saying, I think you're going to say it.
Yeah, Mr. Piaget says it's a bracelet watch, not a watch bracelet.
Yes.
It's a bracelet with a watch integrated, but it's a jewel which gives time, as very often at Piaget.
And again, I think Piaget's real calling card is the integration for the purity of a design. So we have the gadroons on the side of the case here that continue through the dial.
And the alternance of satin effect elements and polished. So it's a very strong, another strong element of the Piaget style. And
until you hold this watch in your hand, you're not going to notice details like this incredible horizontal brush to the links that have, it gives it this little, we were talking about a halo. It has a little velvety halo.
It's the identity of the model.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So there we go. The 80s represented the peak of the Polo and then the comeback in 2025.
We start from the ultra-thin movement, the work of gold, the color, and we arrive to high jewelry.
Tell me about this era. So this is the 90s. We're now in the 90s.
Early 90s, the Galaxy model, made of baguette cut diamonds or with rubies, sapphires, emeralds. And it was proposed in 4 different sizes, but also for men.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and look, you know what? It is, once again, Piaget is on the tip of my tongue because within our space, Baltic propose a model with diamonds in the next 12 months. Ferland Mari propose a model with diamonds in the next 12 months with lab-grown diamonds. And Denison propose a black sunray dial with a diamond encrusted case. So Piaget in the past, in the present, right now. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is just a little taster of what makes Piaget a brand that just keeps being spoken about.
And unique.
And unique, absolutely. It's so unique that all of these unique touches are finding their way back into the lexicon of design and of modern watches. Thanks for watching Time+Tide. Do join our mailing list so that you can be invited to events like this. And Alain, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much, Andrew.
I'm a puppy dog that's been very, very well looked after here. I'm very excited about tonight. I can't wait for tonight. See you soon. Thanks for watching.